Okay, so good evening once more.
Good evening, ma'am. Good
Yes,
evening, ma'am.
discussing about self-regulation and self-regulation. As you told, it's self-control. Then we were discussing about the examples. Elvina, I was about to ask you about one example. Tell me.
Ma'am, self-control, right?
Self-regulation.
Self-regulation. And in my previous school,
Mm.
there is something program or something any other program is going upon. In the stage, they will play some music.
Mm.
So while hearing that music, I don't know. I just start moving or beating up to that music and like moving and dancing to the music. But my
Vibing.
friends says, but my friends always used to force me and holds my hand. Then after I'm not able to control myself while playing that music.
Mm. And later on, you are forced to control yourself.
Yes,
Mm. Because of the circumstances or because of the friends around. Isn't it? Yes, that is also one example. Okay. So self-regulation here refers to our ability to organize, just underline ability to organize and monitor our own behavior. Ability to organize something and monitor. Monitor means
Watch
always,
ourselves.
yeah, watch, always keep a note of something. Here, what is that something? It's our behavior, our own behavior. Okay, so ability to organize and monitor our behavior, that is self regulation. It's not only the controlling factor but to look at everything, all the behaviors, arrange it carefully, organize it, monitor it, and do all the behaviors accordingly according to different situations. That particular ability is self regulation. Okay. In my opinion, self control would come as something related to this or maybe a part of it. Self regulation is the wide term. Got it? Self control is coming up. We'll see then. So who'll start reading? Raina. Raina already read today? No. Then read.
Self-regulation.
Mm.
Self-regulation refers to an ability to organize and monitor our own behavior.
Mm.
People who are able to change their behavior according to the demands of the external environment are high on self-monitoring.
Mm.
Many situations of life require resistance and situational pressures and control over ourselves. This,
Control over ourselves. Then.
this becomes possible through what is commonly known as willpower.
Mm. I
As
hope you
human
all are familiar with the term willpower, isn't it? Willpower. Yeah. Then.
As human beings, we can control our behavior the way we want. We often decide to delay or defer the satisfaction of certain needs.
What do you mean by
The
differ? Defer or differ? DEFER.
varies,
Hmm?
varies,
Variance.
no, it varies, right? It's all varies.
Ah, that is DIFFER. I'm asking about DEFER. Differ. Defer or differ. That means to delay. There is a word given in front, I think. Yeah. Delay or defer. Means to delay something. Take a bit longer. Or suppose you have got scholarship, an amount of money, and then the organization that has already announced the scholarship, they are deferring your scholarship, which means only after a period of time you will get that. Similarly, if you have not submitted the art integration project, then your results are being deferred, which means it will be delayed. Only if you submit it and only if we calculate all that, consolidate all the marks, then only you will get the whole result. Understood the meaning? Therefore, okay. So, what is said there about deferred? We often decide to delay or defer the satisfaction of certain needs. Can you give me an example for that? Where we uh, delay or we defer our own needs or our own satisfaction of needs.
When we are hungry,
When we are hungry,
and if the situation is not right to have food at the current moment,
what will we do?
we'll have to control.
We'll have to control. For example, you are sitting in the exam hall, and you are very hungry. Can you just stop your exam and then uh, tell your ma'am that, ma'am, I have written enough, this is enough, I'm really hungry, I'm going home? No. For the rest of the life, you will have to suffer hunger if you don't attend your exam properly, isn't it? Yeah. So what do? You control, you regulate, you organize your emotions, you organize your behaviors, you'll keep all those hunger thoughts aside, and then engage in what behavior? Writing behavior. Because now exam is the priority here, and then you'll have to do such behaviors. That's again self-regulation. Okay, continue.
Learning to delay or defer the gratification of
Gratification of
gratification of needs is self-control. Self
gratification of needs is similar as satisfaction of needs. Okay, fulfillment of needs. That is the correct word. Fulfillment of needs. That is called self-control.
self-control plays a key role in fulfillment of long-term goals.
Hmm.
The Indian culture tradition provides us with certain effective mechanism, example fasting with Uttra or Rosa, and non-attachment with worldly things for developing
It's not
self-control.
Utta, it's Vradam. Malayalam we say Vradam. Isn't it? Vrata, Rosa. And non-attachment with worldly things for developing self-control. That is an example from Indian culture. The way in which we self-control. Self-control means what is given there? It is the delaying or deferring the gratification of needs, which means you are in need of something, but you delay yourself from satisfying or fulfilling that particular need. For example, again, no offense, but in the previous class I told you reduce the time for your BTS and all, isn't it? That gives you pleasure. Watching the videos, hearing music, seeing the dance gives you pleasure, gives you enjoyment. But what is your long-term goal? You want to have, you have to have a settled life. You want to lead a happy life. You want a good job, and for that you have to study. So studying is our studying and getting good marks is our kind of short-term goal, which will eventually lead us to the long-term goal. Hopefully, yes, we are doing this for that. And now, when I told you to reduce the time, you are delaying your satisfaction of needs or gratification of needs. Means, as of now, I'm reducing my time so that when I get a good job, or maybe if I study properly, then I'll get free time later on. That time I can enjoy more. That time I can have more pleasure with this. So that is again self control. Got it? Understood the concept? Okay. Then, um, Sneha, read the rest. A number of last, yeah, a number of
1 second, the PDF is going. A number of psychological techniques of self-control have also been suggested. Observation of one behavior is one of them.
underline that. Observation of own behavior is one of them. So now we are going to discuss about the strategies or techniques that are used in psychology for self-control. Okay, the first one is observation of our own behavior. Observation of our own behavior, it's quite familiar to you. Please continue reading.
This provides us with necessary information that may be used to change, modify, or strengthen certain aspects of self.
Yes.
Self-instruction is
And the
another
second one,
important technique.
self-instruction. Second one. Yeah, continue.
Self-instruction is another important technique. We often instruct ourselves to do something and behave the way we want to do.
Mm,
Such instructions are quite effective in self-regulation.
mm,
Self-reinforcement
mm,
is a third technique.
mm.
This involves rewarding behavior that the pleasant outcome. For example, you may go to see a movie with friends. If you have done well in an examination, these techniques have been tried out and found quite effective with respect to self-regulation and self-control.
Yes, these are the three techniques. It's quite self-prescriptive. Observation of our own behavior. We observe our own behavior. Either we take a video, or we think about our own behavior, or we ask our parents or friends about our own behavior, collect more information about our own behavior, and then analyze what is happening. Analyze what all behaviors we got engaged in, and then the scientific observation is done into ourselves. That is one important technique to control ourselves. Suppose these candid videos are there, right? When you go for a function, or when you're the what do you call, the best friends are there with you, they take your candid videos, and what happens later on, you get to know that you are engaging in such behaviors. How weird is your expression, how weird is your body language when you come to a particular situation. You'll get to know that only when you see from their point of view or in a video or something. Yeah, that is a very good way to control your behavior, to understand your behavior very much. This understanding will eventually lead to control. Next time you get into such a situation, you'll think, I looked so weird in that video. So if I do the behavior again, I'll look even more weird. So you're likely to control yourself. Okay. So that is one method. Then second one is self instruction. Self instruction means you give instruction to yourself. You do that, you do this. Like when you get angry, you say, no, cool down, calm down. Yeah. Or again, back to our food situation. When you're hungry while writing exam, you'll think focus on your exam. When you get back home, you can eat your favorite food. You can ask mom to cook the food. Yeah. That is self instruction. Then self reinforcement. What is reinforcement again? You've already studied it. Somebody is smiling and
Rewarding.
laughing. Rewarding. Reinforcement means basically rewarding. Okay, Sneha. Reinforcement means essentially it is rewarding, but in psychology we say reinforcements and punishments. So for good behaviors we give reinforcements. For bad behaviors we give punishments. Good behaviors we want them to be repeated or not repeated. Tell me.
To be repeated.
Good behaviors we want them to be repeated. So what we do is we reward either with the praise, with the clap, or maybe with a gift. If it is children, then with ice creams, small small gifts with chocolates and all. And if it is a bad behavior, then we have to stop them. So what do they do? What do? We punish them. Okay, that's a basic concept in learning principles we have learned. So here, what is given? Self reinforcement. Self reinforcement means you are giving reinforcement to whom?
Ourselves.
To ourselves. Self reinforcement. What is the example given there? You may go to see a movie with friends if you have done well in an examination. Yeah. That is self-reinforcement, self-pampering. All the things that you do for yourself after you have done something good. If you think you have done something good, then you pamper yourself. That is again self-reinforcement. So that you yourself keep on doing good things again and again because of this reinforcement. That is also one way of self-control. So which are the three methods of self-control or three techniques, Grishma? Three techniques of self-control.
Self observing,
Uh,
self regulation,
uh. Observation, self-instruction. One more. Rewards,
self reinforcement.
self-reinforcement. Okay. Then, yeah, that's it. Self-regulation is also over. So self-esteem, self-efficacy, self-regulation. These three are the main aspects, cognitive and behavioral aspects of self. So if a question comes to write a note on the cognitive and behavioral aspects of self, you will give an introduction based on self-concept first. Self-concept we already discussed. Then you will explain what is self-esteem, then self-efficacy, then comes self-regulation. Okay. Self-efficacy is based on which theory? Which learning theory? Sana? Self-efficacy. Albert Bandura's
Self
social
learning theory.
social learning theory. Albert Bandura's social learning theory. Okay. Everything clear till now? Okay. Those who have missed the class, the previous one, please go through the recorded class. Okay. Ashish and all. Okay. So shall we move on to the next one that we have already discussed, culture and self. I told you whenever we take any attribute in psychology, we have the cultural differences. It's the same thing here. In one culture, it is like that. In this culture, it is like this. And which main cultures do we usually discuss?
Integral and technological.
That was intelligence. In which cultures were integral and technological given? Western and
Western,
Western and
India.
Indian culture. The same thing is given here. Western and Asian. Asian in specific, we say Indian. Okay. So who will read? Ashish. Yes. Read. Read. Culture and self.
Culture and culture and self.
Hmm.
Several aspects of self seems to be like to be characteristic features of the culture in which an individual lives.
Hmm.
Analysis of the self carried out in the Indian culture context reveals a number of important features that are distinct from those found in the Western cultural context.
Of
The
course.
most
The things in
important
Indian
distinct
culture
feature
would be different. Pause. The aspects in Indian culture would be different from Western culture, isn't it? You already know this, my dear textbook. Then continue. Continue, man.
the most The most important distance between the Indian and the Western use in the way of the border by drawing between the
Not
self and
border,
the other.
boundary.
In the
Boundary
Western
is drawn.
boundary is drawn between the self and the other. In the Western view, these boundaries appears to be relatively fixed. In Indian view of self, on the other hand, the characteristics by the shift nature of
Of this
this boundary.
mm,
Thus, our
boundary.
self boundary
Mm, boundary. Boundary. It's not boundary. It's boundary. Stop there.
boundary.
Boundary. Then
Thus, our self at once moment of time expected expands
expands
to
to
expands
fuse.
to fuse with the con-
Cosmos.
cosmos or
Cosmos means universe or the world.
include the other,
Mm.
but at the next moment it seems to be completed withdrawn
Completely withdrawn from it.
completely withdrawn from it and focused fully on individual self. The
Mm.
Western view seems to hold clear di-
Dichotomies. Dichotomies means extremities. Like black and white. They are a dichotomy. They are two extremes. Good and bad. They are again dichotomies. They are two extremes. So dichotomies means making a division into two, into extreme two. Okay, then
the di- clear dichotomies between the self and the other, man and the nature, the subjective and the objective.
objective.
The Indian view does not make such clear
Dichotomies.
dichotomies.
Hmm.
Figure 2.1
Illustrates
illustrates
the relationship. Yes.
this
Okay,
relationship.
fine. So in the figure 2.1, you can see how self and the group or the individual and the rest of the world, individual and the rest of the group is given. In Western culture, what happens is they make a distinction between self and the other. Self and the other means if suppose Raina is telling, then Raina's self is Raina itself, and the other means anything around her, anything and everything around her. Okay. So in if it is in a Western culture, there is a clear distinction between Raina and the others. So self is separated from the outside world. There is a clear cut boundary there. But in Indian culture, in most of the places and among most of the people, what is happening is this boundary is not much clear. That is, in your individual space or in your individual circle, in your personal space, you will allow, or most of the Indians, it's a general theory that most of the Indians will allow others to enter. No offense, but I'm telling this example to make you understand the neighborhood aunties. Just a minute. Yeah. Oof. Yes. That's paragraph.
In the Western culture, the self and the group exist as two different entities with clearly defined boundaries.
Hmm.
Individual members of the group maintain their individuality.
Hmm.
In the Indian culture, the self is generally not separated from one's own group,
Hmm.
rather, both remain in a state of harmonious coexistence.
Hmm.
In the Western culture, on the other hand, they often
So remain at a distance.
difference.
Hmm.
That's why many Western cultures are characterized as individualistic, whereas many Asian cultures are characterized as collectivistic.
Asian culture, for example, our Indian culture is characterized as collectivistic. So this part is, although it's very small, each and every point in that paragraph is very important. And this is a very important topic in this chapter also. How are the Indian and Western culture different in terms of the self, the concept of self. So what you have to write is regarding the clear-cut boundaries. Clear-cut boundaries are there between self and the other in Western culture, whereas in Indian culture, there is no such clear boundary between self and the other. Dichotomies exist in Western culture. Dichotomies do not exist much in Indian culture. Then Western culture is also called, or it is considered as Individualistic, which means people have their own individuality, they maintain their own individuality, they mind their own business. But whereas in Asian cultures like that of India, what happens is they try to live in harmony with each other, with their family members, with their neighbors, and all. Again, it is given in theory, but I don't know how much practical this is. And that type of cultures again referred to as collectivistic. Okay, all right. Yeah, so that is culture and self, and we have finished almost everything about self. And from next class onwards, we'll be studying about personality. Do you know what the word persona means? Persona. Ah,
It's a
the
kind of a mask a person wears to
yes,
hide his or her personality.
yes. From where did you get that?
Searched in Google.
Yeah. Okay, so persona means mask. Okay, so personality means personality means. Tell me, Ashish. Hmm? If persona means mask, then personality means. Huh? Tell me. Unmute and tell. No problem.
Masculinity.
Masculinity. I expected that. Masculinity. We'll see in the next class. Okay. Thank you. Read, keep reading because we'll get back to this only on Monday. Okay. So keep reading and study for the test also. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.